I'm about to teach a business boundaries course starting Wednesday. And as I'm working on this, I'm like, I know I'm going to hurt some people's feelings when we get to the sections on boundaries with yourself as an entrepreneur, because so many of my clients, I have to point out this habit that they are not yet conscious of. And it's this: blowing it up and starting over. So this happens for a few reasons. One, because I think a lot of folks feel really comfortable and joyful in the creative space, like the building space, the filling up the blank canvas, the planning. So before you need to release it out into the world, before you need to witness anyone else's reaction to it, before you may need to assert yourself or stand up for yourself or experience rejection or perceived rejection. So that's the fun part, before there's like a real risk of what happens when this is visible, when my work is visible, when it's out there. And so I think a lot of people are like, I like the part of entrepreneurship where I'm creating stuff, where I'm dreaming. I feel less safe when I'm marketing it, when I'm selling it, when I'm presenting it to people, especially if when I release it, I don't immediately hit my sales goals, or it takes a while for it to get traction, which, as we know from data, is actually a normal part of the marketing cycle. It's super common if you are marketing an offer for there to be like a little blip at the beginning of people being like, yay, I'm an early bird. Then there being a dip and you needing to keep showing up, keep talking about it, keep warming people up, giving people a chance to establish enough know, like, and trust, familiarity, sense of safety, excitement to be ready to make any sort of significant financial, time-wise, attention-wise investment. So like it's expected you're gonna have to talk about it a lot, right? Like it took 2 years into my business before I sold something off of a single post. And I still don't count on that, nor do I want to, because especially for my more personal programs like my marketing confidence cheerleading, where we are going to be spending a lot of time with each other. We're going to be vulnerable with each other. I'm going to be like in your business, like your literal business, helping you figure it out and work through whatever is blocking you. So of course you need to establish a sense of familiarity, safety, and trust with me. Of course you need to feel like we vibe, feel like I'm gonna get where you're coming from, feel like my style of communication is actually gonna do something for you. So it's okay that I expect to have to talk about my cheerleading offers quite a lot before I hit my sales goals, because that's normal. But folks who maybe have heard those stats or like cognitively been like, okay, that's a normal marketing cycle, but haven't brought their full belief on board. And so their data mind is like, okay, that's normal. But then the louder voice is, people aren't going to go for it. They're going to reject me. I'm being rejected. This is a failed launch like 2 days in, right? This is just not going to work. No one's going to get it. They're uncomfortable in that space of uncertainty where they need to be the first one to believe, the first one to validate the value of their offer, their program, before other people catch on. That's very uncomfortable and frightening. And it's at that point where a lot of people are like, well, this isn't working. I'm going to crumple it up, throw it away, and go back to the fun part, which is facing my blank canvas and putting some beautiful paint on it, right? Like the creating stage. And I've watched this a lot. Like I've noticed that people do this to kind of act like unconsciously sabotage their launch. They do it by blowing up their offer suite and starting over again, deciding that before I can launch this thing again, I have to redo my website. There's a lot of the back to the drawing board, because the drawing board is the fun part. I feel really vulnerable and comfortable when I have to show my work. So we talk a lot in my marketing confidence cheerleading programs about resisting the urge to blow it up and start over, with a lot of compassion and empathy. Like it makes sense why that is your instinct to, when you are in pain, when you are feeling the pain of uncertainty and you haven't figured out a way to soothe yourself and nurture yourself through that period of discomfort. You haven't figured out how to change your narrative of what's going on. So You're looking for the signs that it is working, the signs that you are being successful. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. This is going to work out. You haven't trained yourself to orient towards that narrative of what's going on when you're mid-launch and people haven't bought yet, or not as many people as you want have bought yet. That's a really key, important work to be a successful entrepreneur and have your business be sustainable for the long run. Like, you need to have those emotional resources, those emotional skills, that new habitual way of talking to yourself internally, of interpreting what's going on. And that takes practice, because it's not common sense. It's not the typical way we are conditioned or trained in society, which is why it's so important to find mentors, colleagues, communities that are going through what you're going through and can hype you up and can cheer you on through this period of discomfort, which is a normal part of the marketing cycle. When you're having to believe first, when you're having to keep showing up and talking about it until there's even a chance for people to feel familiar and safe enough to make the investment. So one of the ways I'm gonna try to figure out how to say this as gently and lovingly as I can in my business boundaries course is, when we talk about boundaries with ourselves, a big one is being aware of our patterns. What is our go-to? What do we do when we're feeling uncomfortable, when we have emotions we don't want to sit with, we don't want to process, when we have stories that we are telling ourselves about what's happening in our business that make us go to these habits that sabotage our goals? So growing awareness of what do we do? How do we catch on to what's happening? And how do we lovingly get ourselves to resist the urge to blow it up and start over and try something more constructive next time? So that sounds like you. If you're feeling called out right now, I love you. And also, you should come to Business Boundaries. It's just $20 to sign up right now. We start on Wednesday. It's 4 classes. We're going to talk about building boundaries right into your business to protect your money, your time, your capacity, the scope of your work, and your big vision for your business and your life, so that we are not just finding a way to stay on the hamster wheel of hustling and grinding and feeling like it's not working, and just constant panic about where the next client's going to come from. You also, because obviously this gets into some emotional territory, it gets into some accountability, into looking at ourselves and some habits that are kind of thwarting our big goals for our business. That's emotional shit. So I've built in a ton of extra support into this program. So you get free access for the entire month of November 2024 to the Squad, which is my group Marketing Confidence Cheerleading membership. So there's a whole crew of awesome entrepreneurs there to hype you up in our private community. There's also, you will have access to our free monthly marketing masterclass and business lab, so you can implement what we learn directly into your business right away. You get access to our cheerleading calls, so we can work through any blocks that are coming up in this work. And in our private community, you can get my eyes on your marketing strategy, your marketing assets. You can get my help with content, with your launches, with prompts. So you really just get just add water marketing director. So I would love to see you there. As always, feel free to hit me up in the DMs if you have any questions. Okay, love you, bye.